Interface Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frankie Smith Funeral Home.
Hello folks, and welcome to Fairfield Today. I'm your host, Paul Jackson. Thank you for joining us as we broadcast from the lobby downtown of Fairfield Federal. We appreciate them allowing us to come here each and every Tuesday and do some interesting topics we think of events and occurrences happening here in Lancaster and Fairfield County. Second half of the show today, we'll talk about the Lancaster Parks and Recreation Department with Mike Tharp. Everything Lancaster Parks, always an interesting subject because they're involved in so much in the community. We're going to begin with one of our favorite guests, and I can say that unhesitatingly.
Aww.
The lovely Susan Nixon-Stoughton with us today. Susan, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. She is the Resource Development Director for United Way, and again, when you talk about somebody that touches, as we mentioned with Mike Tharp, the parks around, United Way touches so many parts of the community. They are involved with, I bet you half the people we have on here, whether it's Maywood Mission, whether it's the Y, no matter who it is, somehow your agency touches a lot of Lancaster and Fairfield County.
Well, I think it's really important for viewers to understand that United Way, what we do is we rally people together. So if we're alerted that there's an issue throughout the community, we're going to do our best to pull people together, find a solution, obviously fund it, or at least in part help fund it, and start getting people turned around. And in the areas that we like to fund and to really be able to turn people around, it's the areas of education, financial stability, and health. So there's just a lot. When you talk about all those agencies, we have a lot of partner agencies, a lot of programs that we fund throughout Fairfield County.
I'm privileged to be on the board with Tony Salvatore down at Maywood Mission, and United Way is a big part of every board meeting we have. We talk a lot of things, but United Way, that comes up frequently. And I've watched over the years, I don't know how many years ago the change occurred, where now you're holding the agencies much more accountable, at least in my aspect, from somebody that works on the board of an agency. It's not enough just to give these folks money now. Your agency sees that this money is going where it gets, in your mind, the maximum use from every agency. And again, Maywood's one of those, but you look at that overall.
Well, and I have to tell you, it's all about outcomes.
Yeah.
And for every donor who's watching, doesn't that make you feel good that you're making a charitable contribution to United Way? But we're making sure that we're just not willy-nilly taking your hard-earned money and issuing it to folks and not really seeing that there are those measurable outcomes coming from those donations. So that's why the whole process was changed, just to make sure that agencies are held accountable. They are receiving, in many cases, large sums of money, and we just have to make sure that it's outcome-based, that those results are there.
I think when you used to be somebody, maybe still do, that goes and speaks to people, speak to agencies, you need to be able to tell those folks, and I'm sure that's part of this, is that we're doing right with your money, and that's what you want.
And if we find out that perhaps somebody has had 3 or 4 years of measurable growth, and all of a sudden the wheels fall off the bus, we do look at that funding line.
Sure.
We do look at
Sure.
that allocation just to see, does it need to remain at the level that it is, or can we reduce it? Which then makes dollars available for either new programs or perhaps somebody who they are showing a steady increase in those outcomes and they need additional funding.
And I think it's important. Again, you need to be able to look people in the eye and say, we're doing the best we can do. Absolutely. You work very hard at that.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're asking, in the case of this year, $1.7 million is what we're looking at. Now, I will tell you, my campaign chair this year is David Levesey, and he feels that's low. So after they rubbed paddles
Spoken
together,
like a government official.
Yes. After they rubbed the paddles together and yelled clear and got me started again, I told him I would do the very best I could to exceed that. But when you look at going out and talking to people, and we're sitting in the lobby of Fairfield Federal, Judy Root always invites me in, both here and they're Pickering Irvington location, and I've gone out to West Fair to talk to their staff. These are folks who work very hard for their money, and we're asking them to consider giving us a part of it. And in doing so, then they're entrusting us to do the right thing.
Sure.
So that's where all of this,
I agree. And I think from just somebody that works on a board, I see that keeps our pedal to the metal in what we do. We need to make sure that, and again, Maywood Mission's case, we do the things that's going to be acceptable to you, that we're doing the right thing, and therefore will be the right thing when we report to you.
Yes.
Keep the funding up.
That's right.
Here we are in August. It's hard to believe that the summer is almost, the festival's over, the fair is not that far down the road, but things never stop. I know that with you. I could have you on every month. I think there are so many things going on. So here we are in August. What's up for United Way?
Well, right now, obviously, we're really gearing up for the campaign kickoff.
Yeah.
We have finished up our filming of our video. United Way each year does build a video to really talk to employees that are willing to give their money and talk to the community about what it is that we do. This year's campaign theme is Unite to Fight. Our friends at Interface Video, we have Shane here running a camera today. They came over and they actually taped the video. So now they're in the editing process. And I never get to see it. Not my idea. That's all Bob Competti. But I don't ever get to see it prior to campaign kickoff, which this year is Tuesday, September 12th. Usually we have 500-600 people in the room that day for kickoff.
Big event.
And I decided, since it's my granddaughter's 5th birthday, let's host a huge party with hundreds of people. So we picked Tuesday, September 12th.
What a wonderful grandma. I mean, you
are
the winner.
Yes. Now, she won't be there, but at least in my mind I can say that, we pulled all these people together.
We did this for you.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's a very exciting time.
Yes.
Voluntary training program. You again, there's lots of things going on here as you get geared up. Now, when is that kickoff? What day?
It is Tuesday, September 12th.
Okay.
And what happens at 7:45 in the morning, but what happens that day is everybody comes and they just have a great time, and they enjoy the breakfast, which is at no cost to anyone that attends. But then our folks leave there, and many of them go out and work Community Care Day. And for viewers who may not be aware of what Community Care Day is, we actually have folks and we're gathering these now. So again, this could be kind of a double-edged sword for somebody who's listening. If you're a 501c3, so a nonprofit organization, and you need some projects done, maybe it's outside, maybe it's mulch, inside, maybe it's painting a room, you get a hold of us. They'll want to get a hold of Shelley White at our office, 740-653-0643, and sign up and register to actually become a project site. Then what we do is we send volunteers out throughout the community, 300-400 of them, and you'll know them because they're going to be wearing these spiffy Live United t-shirts.
Oh, very snappy.
That also feature our sponsors. And this year's presenting sponsor is Company Wrench, as well as...
Roll it around there.
Okay, I will. As well as Buckeye Lake Marina. And
is there anything Company Wrench in the last couple of years? Brad knows folks. I mean, it's amazing how involved they are in the community. What a great partner.
Yes, and they also send volunteers to actually work that day.
Great.
So basically, folks will come out and they will work on whatever the project may be. Last summer, or I guess it's last fall now, but it was so hot that it was still summer to me. Last September, I went down to the Knisley Park, I think is what it's considered, but the park in Bremen, and yes, is that it? Because it's got the horseshoe.
Right.
Yes,
that's it.
He's the horseshoe champ.
You're right.
Yes, that's right.
You're all over it.
I am. It was a lucky guess, and it does help. I grew up there, so I did know a little bit about that part.
Okay,
so that I did cheat.
Very good.
Anyway, I drove to Bremen that day during Community Care Day, and they were painting all the shelter houses, the benches, the picnic tables. And Debbie Wolf was our project coordinator there, she does a fabulous job. If you haven't been down there lately, you need to. The gardens are beautiful. They have a walking trail. It is absolutely gorgeous. And we had volunteers down there. A large group of them came from Fairfield County DD. And paint all over them, but they had a great day. Debbie always feeds them lunch. So we try to get them out the door from kickoff at 9 a.m., and they work until about 3 to 4 in the afternoon. So you can get a lot of work done. Many hands, many hands make light work, I think. And so where the Parks Department was concerned. And then I drove over to the Senior Center. It's actually the Senior Center in Bremen. And they were doing a lot of work there. So it's just a lot. You can get a lot done when you have people who are willing to roll up their sleeves and actually do it.
So here we are, August 1st. That is what, September 12th?
Exactly.
So
quickly.
you need to get your name and you let them know what the project is, or you just
Exactly.
okay. So again, how would they contact you and get all
They'll
that
want
in?
to get a hold of Shelley in our office,
Okay.
and her phone number is 740-653-0643. And then what will happen is, whether you want to volunteer and she'll put you on a team to go out, or you represent a nonprofit and you want to go ahead and register to be a project site, that can happen as well. So we have employees, they clean the river up. So the city of Lancaster benefits from this. There are just many, many organizations throughout Fairfield County who will receive help from volunteers that day and get a lot done in a short period of time.
Talking with Susan Nixon Stoughton, Director of Resource Development for United Way here in Lancaster and Fairfield County. And I guess we need to, you already gave Judy a little plug here, but the wonderful job she did to head up the campaign. Dave Levacy will be the new one. Got great people in charge
Yes.
here that really want to get involved.
Yes, and as only United Way does, we always have to have that plan for the future.
Right.
So this year, our campaign chair is, in fact, David Levacy. Next year, it will be Jeff Beard from Standing Stone. And in 2019, it's Angela Cryle from Cryle Communications.
Oh, you talk about
So-
somebody that'll get it done. She can get. I think we
Yes.
need to keep women in there. Nothing against Dave, but you get women to head that up, they actually get the job done.
Well, I think with any person, male or female, if you ask the busiest person you know to do something, they're going to get it done, because that's just the speed that they know how to operate.
And that's the only speed. I was looking at the United Way website before you came on, I think it was yesterday, Susan, and one thing I noticed on there was this quote from Winston Churchill. You probably know it, and you've probably used it. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. So that's really what your agency's about.
Yeah, that is actually my signature line on my email.
Maybe
Yes.
that's where I saw it was on your email
Yes.
when we were discussing, but that's big.
And I think a lot of people hear United Way and they think that they need to give financially. We understand that maybe not everybody can do that, but if you have a few hours, and September 12th is a date that you can work into your schedule, then give of your time. That certainly is
Sure.
something that is equally as
Yeah.
valuable to us.
So I'd go just Google United Way Lancaster, Fairfield County. You can find it. What's the phone number again down there?
740-653-0643, and our website is uwayfairfieldco.org.
It's a wonderful website, very comprehensive. We'll get that video up there once it's posted in September. It'll be on there. You'll be able to
It
see
will
it.
be, yes.
September 12th is the big kickoff, so you've got a month or so, 6 weeks to get going here. It's going to be a wonderful campaign. We'll have you back for updates. We'll look for, going to have the board across the street again.
Oh, we
everything
will.
tote
That
board.
beautiful lighted sign
That'd
that
be wonderful.
Mike Tharp and his folks agreed to take down for us last year and store it over the winter. So the Parks Department will be putting that back up for us. And something else that's exciting, as I throw Mike Tharp's name out there, he has agreed to help me this year's Fair Share gift with campaign. And Fair Share equals 1 hour of pay a month for the year. So 1 hour of pay times 12 months. You get registered to win a brand new 2017 with trailer pontoon boat that has been donated from David Levacy. So obviously we want to be able to get that boat out there for people to see. And I asked Mike a month or so ago if he'd be willing to work with us to have it displayed in, maybe at the park for a short period of time and move that around the county. And he has agreed to do that. So not only will you want to look for our lighted sign, but you want to keep an eye out for that brand new pontoon boat.
And we hope Buckeye Lake will have enough water in there that we can now. We hope it's only going to get better.
I was up there Saturday, and I have to tell you, there were a lot of boats out. I saw a lot of kids on the backs of tubes having a great time.
Good.
So yeah, it looked like a lot of fun sitting having lunch
Levacy
at
is
Papa
very
Boo's.
glad about
Yes.
that for a lot of reasons.
Oh, that's
For a
right.
lot of
Yes,
reasons.
yes.
Susan Nixon Stoughton, United Way, big community campaign is coming up. Community Day is out there in September. Looking forward to a wonderful year. We'll look back for an update.
Perfect. Thank you
dear.
so much for having me.
Susan Nixon Stoughton, United Way. We'll be back on Fairfield Today in just a moment. Welcome back to Fairfield Today. Thanks Susan Nixon Stoughton being on discussing United Way. We'll talk to Lancaster City Parks and Recreation Department in a moment with Superintendent Mike Tharp. Want to mention the good folks here at Fairfield Federal who, if you go on their website, fairfieldfederal.com, if you're an individual that's looking, maybe you have money somewhere, maybe you have accounts somewhere, either you're not satisfied or you're just looking to move for a change where maybe they're a little more up to date, they have more things going on online, certainly a place to look would be fairfieldfederal.com. They have a tab on there. They have business banking, internet banking, and personal banking. So click on personal banking. They have a nice comprehensive website that tell you how they can take control of your finances and take the worry off of you. You just put everything there. You can follow your money. You can check all your rates. There's so much information available, and much of it is available online, and that's a nice thing. But also, I think, and really maybe the main thing about Fairfield Federal, they're a local branch office. They're local people that make local decisions. You've got here, you've got the west side, you've got Pickerington at Cross Creeks Boulevard, fairfieldfederal.com. You can talk to local people that will make all these local decisions. And in my mind, that's a plus to anytime you can deal locally, it's a plus. So it's fairfieldfederal.com. Mike Tharp, the superintendent of the Lancaster Parks and Recreation Department.
Good to see you.
Always a pleasure. And
Thank you.
I'll open it up, and I know we have a lot of things we can talk about, but I want to give you a plug. A couple of weeks ago, my wife and I went out for lunch, and we went to Rising Park.
Yes.
And we just marvel at that place. And we thought about the foresight of the Risings. I think they'd be pleased, even the ones that donated it back in the day, to see where it's come today. Because, I mean, this is, I don't know what it was, a Sunday afternoon or something. There's people everywhere around there walking dogs and in the little gazebo right there. And they're in these shelter houses and they're having picnics at the table. What? And they're playing tennis on those courts. Pretty snappy looking too, the blue courts. I
you.
can't get over that, but it's pretty snappy. But I mean, what? And I'm sure that's the linchpin of all the parks. And I know Alley Park is big, but I've always been such a Rising Park guy. Golly, what a place! Nobody has a place like this.
Nobody has a place like Rising Park, and you're right. It is the hinge pin. It is the crown jewel of the Lancaster Park system.
I think so.
I'd even go as far as to say it's the crown jewel of Lancaster. You go back to 1909 when it was dedicated by Philip Rising, or given as a gift by the Rising family after the passing of Philip Rising, and the foresight of him to say nothing should be bought or sold inside this park. And here we are 100 and some 17 years later, whatever the case may be, and we still honor that. And there's no pressure on families once they enter that park, for the ice cream trucks or people selling stuff. It's just a carefree park, close proximity to 38,000 people that live inside the city. It's our crown jewel, no doubt. And
Well, it's amazing to go out there, and it's so beautiful. Beyond what everything, the trees, there's so many mature trees, and golly, it's just an opportunity to go out there. Just if you don't do anything else but drive through and drive out, you can say, man, that's a good 10 minutes I've spent in this park. That's really nice.
It really is.
Oh boy,
It's a gorgeous.
Oh. Well, I know we've got several things we can talk about. I guess we'll talk about one. Fairfield Federal here, really involved right behind us. Took a couple of weeks off for the festival each year. But other than that, the Friday night bandstands, and I'll say the bands that this year I think may have been the most outstanding overall from any I've seen. We had the community band, Bad Influence was there, the British Invasion, McGuffey Lane.
McGuffey Lane got canceled, but yes.
But they were scheduled to be
Yeah, they
here.
were
But I
scheduled.
would say every week has just been just top drawer.
And it's hats off to Fairfield Federal and Judy Root, Mary, the whole gang here at Fairfield Federal, because it's their community involvement that helped sponsor and support this. It's the Lancaster Parks and Recreation that drive this thing forward, but without the money and the support from Judy Root and Fairfield Federal, we could never do what we've done. So hats off to them, and hats off also, Destination Downtown Lancaster. We've done some things this year that we've never done on Friday Night Bandstand. We've showed music videos twice after the bandstand's done, and we've never tried anything like that, and it's catching on. And it's just something else to keep the community involved and keep the community downtown. We're always reaching, we're always striving to do more. What can we do to keep people downtown involved in something? And Ken Culver and the festival, I love working with that group, and Dave Scheffler, DDL, Susan with United Way.
Right.
It's just It gives me goosebumps.
Well, great organizations, and that the fact you all pair up the fair, I mean the fairgrounds, everything there. Tim Boris and new guy over there, everything
yes.
working out great, so it's wonderful. And I go by, being where I live, I go by Tiki about every day, and I go by Miller many times. Looks like things are really cracking with the pools. Here we are at August, summer's almost over, but I mean it's been busy.
And hats off to you. There was a lot of rumors last year spreading around about Miller Pool and what was going to come of Miller Pool and the heritage of Miller Pool. So we took it on ourselves this year to do a couple things. We spruced up that pool. We gave it a new look. We gave it a minor facelift. Took a new attitude into Miller Pool. We partnered with the YMCA. We partnered with 211 Fairfield County. Church organizations trying to get more kids into that pool at a reduced rate, yes. But if we're going to take a loss at a community pool, we want it to be a good loss. We want it to be for the right reasons, and this was for the right reasons. YMCA was busing their kids clear out to Pleasantville. That doesn't introduce them to Miller Pool. It doesn't keep them attached to the city. And
you're only 100 yards away.
Exactly. I couldn't understand that. But it was just over the years, rates had increased to them, and it's like, no, let's don't do that.
Yeah, well,
let's back up.
Parks. Yeah. Well, and I know the parks has had an emphasis on, a lot of things had to be decided, but I'm a West Side kid. I grew up over there, so I'm all about the West Side, and I understand the reality of things. I see that, but I appreciate the parks really making a push to see if this is going to work. We're going to give it a shot to make it work.
It's going to work.
Yeah.
We've already seen the numbers up more than 20% at Miller Pool this year.
That's good news. I love that.
Yes.
Speaking of great places, you get down there to Alley Park, there's hardly a weekend goes by that it's like the fairgrounds. There's something going on all the time at Alley Park.
There is, and so many people are still out of touch with Alley Park and don't realize that it's part of the Lancaster Parks and Rec system. A nature education center that is second to none around here, and outdoor educators that are there day in and day out. That when we do boating classes and archery classes, and we spent the entire summer doing camps, red camp, blue camp, that had like a Dr. Seuss theme to them, and oh my gosh, just the thought process that goes in to putting on summer camps. Trina Thornton and the group that we have that facilitate Alley Park, second to none.
I'll say you have a pretty snappy AV system down there.
Oh, we do.
Boy, that's top notch right there, man.
That was, and we weren't sure what the response was going to be, because putting audio-visual equipment in such a beautiful, natural setting, but it was done in such a way by Bob Capetti and the group
that it
blended right in, and it really helps us to facilitate meetings from organizations that want to come down there and meet during the day. And then the weddings, now we're showing wedding videos and that type of stuff that brides and grooms do in today's age, and what a great addition to the parks that was.
One of the shows we have on each year is the big tractor show that's down there. But I didn't know this, and this ties in with Alley Park. I was talking to you about it. I guess this thing is, and to the credit of Alley Park, who's done such a good job putting it on. This thing is so big it can't even be in Alley Park this year.
Yeah, we've kind of run out of room at Alley Park with the tractor show, and then they had put in for a bid to do the state antique tractor show, and they won it. And because of the response and the attendance of Alley Park and what the tractor show's done in the past, they were awarded the state antique tractor show. So they're going to the fairgrounds, which is a perfect venue for something of this size coming into this city.
Yeah.
But we were losing out on the pancake breakfast. So kind of the sidearm
it's a good trade.
The sidearm to this is the Antique Tractor Club said, Lancaster Parks and Rec, would you be willing to come to the fairgrounds and do it? And we said, yeah, we would. So we're excited about it because it'll be a much larger crowd that we get to serve, and we still are
Parks
able
and Rec
to
behind it, just at the fairgrounds.
Just at the fairgrounds.
Sure. And the pancake breakfast, Pearline Reffitt and that group. I mean, God, you see, you can't even say Pearline's name without smiling.
You can't.
In all the world, there's only one. That's the way we look at Pearline.
Yep.
But boy, what an event that has grown into.
It has, and hats off to volunteers like Pearline. And, we have trouble finding those people in today's age. There just doesn't seem to be that sense of community sometimes, or that sense of volunteering and year in and year out. But gosh, if there was just a few more Perlines in the world, that would be a much, much better
When she
place.
takes on a project, no matter what it is, she's a pit bull.
Yeah.
And whether it's saving the West Side pool, whether it's the pancake breakfast, when you've got her on your side, there's no stopping her.
There's not. And I'll back up just she is one of the first people that attend Miller Pool when we open the doors. And my staff love her so much, and they see her so often that they go out and they get her chair out of her car, her lounge chair, and they bring it in for her. And
Oh, I bet she hates that.
Oh, she eats that up. We love her. We do.
Well, again, what a plus to have somebody that's so well known in the community and so well respected. Like, she's behind a project, you know it's
Yeah.
a good project.
Yes, and she goes out and speaks on behalf of the park still. We passed the levy back in the spring, and she still continues to gather information and history of the parks and puts documents together for the longevity, for the history. She's kind of a historian for the park system. Not by title or name, but she just takes that on as a side
I think
venture.
it's by age.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Don't tell her I said that. I don't want to get
I
in
won't
Pearlie's
have to.
bad side. We've got about a minute left. I wanted to hit on the Frontier players too. We've had your dad on here before, and he's so involved in so much down there. But Frontier players, again, something that has a great, rich history with Lancaster Parks and Recreation.
It does. Frontier Players is, oh my gosh, 30 some years. They've been at Alley Park now. We get done with that incredible weekend and such a huge attendance for Alley Park and Frontier Players. And then as soon as that's over, we start right into getting ready for the pumpkin hike. And as soon as the pumpkin hike shuts down, we're starting to gather things up and put lights up for Santa in the Park. So busy time of year for us.
I told Ken Culver, as soon as that last firecracker stops on Saturday night, you get busy for the next year, and that's you. You do one project, the ground's not even cold yet, and already you got to get out of here. We've got the next thing going on.
That's true.
So many irons in the fire.
There is,
Yeah.
but it's so enjoyable.
Well, the Lancaster Parks and Recreation, you just did a great job, and I opened by plugging Rising Park. Let me close by plugging Keller Kern. We drove up maybe that same day, went up on Flat Rocks and drove around and went through there. Beautiful up there. You still into disc golf? You still working that out?
I still stink at it.
Some things never change.
Some
huh?
things never change.
But that's a beautiful natural area up there, far different from Rising or Alley or any of the others, but it's beautiful up there. If people don't get a chance to go up there, just up past Flat Rocks, everybody knows where that is, just go up in there. It's a beautiful area up there.
Gorgeous park.
Yeah, dude, it's such a great job.
Yep.
Bo Gear would be happy to have his name on that street right
He
there.
would, wouldn't he?
He would. Mike Tharp, Superintendent of the Lancaster City Parks and Recreation Department, do a great job no matter what it is. You're into so many things, but you handle them all wonderfully. Thanks
you.
for all you and all your staff does. They do a great job, and look forward to 2017 as we move through this, and just going to be a banner year. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Sure. Mike Tharp with Lancaster Parks. Thanks for being with us on Fairfield today.
Interface Video presents Fairfield Today. Brought to you by Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan, Fairfield Medical Center, Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care, the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and the Frankie Smith Funeral Home.